Almost 2 years after it came out, and despite a rocky start with some technical problems, we're left wondering, was this game really that good, or it doesn't measure up to the best horror games out there? What's up everyone, and welcome to a new video. My name is Omar with Real Gamer Review, and today we are reviewing the Callisto Protocol almost 2 years after being released. If you're watching my channel for the first time, a like and subscribe would be hugely appreciated. Without further ado, let's get right into it. These days, it's pretty normal for games to have rough starts, but many developers manage to turn things around with updates and patches that improve the experience. Just look at Cyberpunk 2077 and No Man's Sky. However, not every game gets this kind of redemption. In this review, we'll take a closer look at various aspects of the Callisto Protocol to see if it has gotten any better or remained the same since its release. The Callisto Protocol is a horror video game from 2022 created by Striking Distance Studios and published by Krafton. It was released on December 2nd, 2022 and is available on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Directed by the mind behind Dead Space, it's often viewed as a spiritual successor to that series. The game's story centers around Jacob Lee, played by Josh Duhamel, a spaceship captain who crashes on the moon Callisto and ends up imprisoned in a high-security facility against his will. You as a player must survive when a mysterious virus spreads through the prison and starts to uncover disturbing secrets about your captors. The game is played from a third-person perspective. The main character health status is shown by a core device implant on the back of his neck, and you can find healthcare packs scattered around to boost your health, very similar to Dead Space. You fight enemies with weapons and melee system that lets you dodge attacks and find moments to hit back and kill them. While the melee moves looks cool in the first few hours, it can get slightly repetitive after a while. As you move forward in the story, you'll get access to new weapons, gear, and guns. The further you go, the more types of weapons you'll discover. You can upgrade your gear using special machines available in nearly every new level or area you visit, spending in-game credits you earn along the way for those upgrades. After you get your first gun, you can mix melee attacks with shooting to take down enemies. This becomes really useful when you face tougher opponents later in the game. Combining both combat styles adds variety when you're up against different enemy types. The game also introduces a telekinesis feature much like Dead Space, which you get access to further in the story. You can use the handheld rechargeable device to take down enemies and toss them into spikes placed throughout the levels. The plot feels a lot like Dead Space 1, where you're thrown into the game clueless about the virus, its origins, or those creepy creatures. The twist is, instead of playing as an engineer on a spaceship, you're a prisoner in a space prison. A lot of reviews are criticizing this game for being too similar to Dead Space and not bringing anything new, but I kind of disagree. Sure, there are a lot of similar elements between the two, but the Callisto Protocol gives a fresh look and feel to the whole experience. At first glance, they may look alike, but when you actually play them, you can totally notice a difference in how the gameplay feels. Also, if it was named Dead Space 4, would those reviewers still be so harsh? And what about gamers who never played Dead Space? I'm pretty sure they'd find this game really enjoyable. I've seen all this stuff before in the Dead Space games, yet this game still scared me. A big part of that is the super realistic graphics, making every space zombie look painfully gory, especially when you're smashing them with a metal rod and the blood is flying everywhere. The developers of the game also nailed it with the classic tricks like low lighting, fog, and even snowstorm to hide the horrors, so the scares pack an extra punch. The game's visuals are sharp and detailed, featuring lifelike shadows, reflections, and textures. You can really see the Dead Space influence in the game's space prison and level design, but they've really ramped it up with modern graphics. One of the coolest things about the Callisto Protocol is how real the faces and the light reflections on them look. If the camera is zoomed in on the main character's face during cutscenes or gameplay, you'll notice the developers did an amazing job with the visuals. Even after almost 2 years, this game still looks super impressive. The art direction in the game really stands out, perfectly capturing the lighting, shadows, and the vibe of a space prison on a far-off moon. The dark and gloomy colors add to the horror feel that the developers aimed for. The Callisto Protocol transports you to another time and place, pulling you into a chilling and gruesome world. The game had some performance hiccups at launch, but after quite a few patches, most of the problems have been fixed. It's definitely not flawless now, but it's much better than when it first came out. The footage in this video was captured on PC, but the game looks pretty good on current-gen consoles as well, like the PS5 and Xbox Series X, nearly matching the PC graphics. When it comes to music and audio, I think this is where the game truly excels. The visuals and overall vibe are elevated by a haunting soundtrack that pulls you right into the feeling of being trapped in a space prison from the get-go. The audio effects in the Callisto protocol are spot on, really boosting the game's realism and immersion. The sounds of bashing enemies, melee hits, enemy parts exploding and flying, and their creepy noises are truly scary and intense. Overall, it's a solid performance. The voice acting in the game is top-notch across the board, but Josh Duhamel really steals the show. As the main character, his performance is amazing and really enhances the game's audio experience. The background noises on different levels, from spooky sounds to jump scares and weapon clashes, make the atmosphere feel super realistic. Plus, the game uses 3D audio tech that boosts your sense of where sounds are coming from, really upping the scare factor and making it seem like you're actually inside the game's prison. As always, I'll leave you with a few clips so you can check the audio and soundtrack yourselves.
What are you doing? No! Shit!
Warning. Explosive pressure on cargo bay.
Hold on! I'm on my way!
One life sign detected. Continuing search.
To wrap things up, after trying this game recently, I can definitely say it's a solid horror single-player experience. Sure, it has quite a few elements that remind me of Dead Space, but that doesn't take away from the fun and overall experience. If you're into horror action games, this one is definitely right up your alley. You really should give it a go if you haven't already. Alright, time to wrap this up. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked the video or picked up something new, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.